Hey, it really makes me think of Zambos.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm Scott G.
And I'm Phil D. And today we're going to be talking about Groundhog Day in space. And we got our guest, GraeScale.
So, what do you think of this?
Yeah, so what do you
Nailed
think
it.
So what do you think about this Returnal, man?
I am absolutely blown away.
Yeah.
I have been a fan of Housemarque for a long time. Outland was easily, one of my favorite games back on Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
So cracked out about it that, I actually wrote a long review that I posted on GameFAQs, and I was like super hype about it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did it. I expected to have that shmup itch, that bullet hell itch scratch.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they're pulling a lot of like cues from Nier Automata and like the Nier series, like for in that context, the way they use their bullet hell elements.
Right. Absolutely. It's not everything. There's so much more. There's the exploration. There's the atmosphere itself.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's not the same game.
Well,
it's just like it feels like it takes a lot of the best parts from a lot of other like more current games. From what I saw, because I just watched Philip play a little bit of it.
Right.
And this is my first exposure to it.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So I hadn't. He had told me about the game, but I hadn't actually seen anything
have you
about
touched it.
I've touched it.
Okay.
I touched it. I felt the vibrations. Those were good vibrations.
Feel the vibration.
Feel the. That's one of the aspects of it. But I think what really gets me is just how fluid all the controls are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really fun to move around.
Right.
Just
fun.
move around.
Just move around. Just shoot. The mobility, just traversing that the living, threatening environment. Really draws you in.
And it is threatening. Good Lord.
Everything wants you dead.
Dude, it's kind of terrifying in sections.
Absolutely. Let's not even talk about going into the house. We're just gonna leave that. And that's very. Once again, that goes almost into like PT.
I was exactly about to say that, dude. Yeah,
it's like they've really drawn from so many different influences.
Man, that transition to first person works really well too.
Yes, it does.
Yes,
it does. I like when you're climbing out of your ship.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the same exact way.
He really liked the fact that sometimes you're in your ship, sometimes you're on the ground.
Yeah, but so this is like kind of a roguelike or roguelite, I guess.
It's a roguelike.
It's a roguelike. So when you die, you pretty much just go back to the start of the game, essentially.
Yes.
Like it's kind of like Hades in that regard.
Yes.
And I guess each time or some of the time, the cutscene changes up. You know what I mean?
You actually, what's happening is as you progress through the game, they'll give you different story beats.
Right.
When you are returning.
Right.
And so you'll get little clips.
Yeah.
So that you know exactly.
But I mean, that's something that I really like as far as like a roguelike goes. Because a lot of them will just drop you right back at the beginning and just be like, hey, go. But at least this gives you something new to look forward to. Absolutely. That way the fail state isn't as oppressive, I guess.
Right.
There's actually a story going on. That's
absolutely. And that's why I relate it so much to Hades, because Hades does the exact same thing.
Right.
You'll go, you'll run, you'll have a good run, you'll get your ass beat, and then you're back in, back in Hades, and you got, I wonder what this guy says. I wonder what this guy says, but while this doesn't seem to be quite that deep, I guess, you are still getting you do still have something to look forward to after the fail state. I wouldn't say, deep's probably the wrong word. What I mean is like, involved. As that.
Well, I think that they've chosen a very unique approach to expressing a narrative.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get moments where they, are like, okay, here's some bits of story. You'll find logs in the field that are left over by, previous iterations of the main character.
Right.
She's died and died and died. She's faced herself before. She's had to kill herself before. Sometimes she's like, okay, well, now it's to a point where I'm not even in pain when I encounter these people.
Right.
It doesn't confuse me. Now I either repurpose their materials, whatever equipment that they had, or I go and avenge them, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like,
log the data and move on.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely, right? So
Yeah.
you think about like just her psychological state, and every time you die, it kind of just drills that point back home,
Right.
that she's not all right.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
Well, they
like-
found a really interesting way to weave the story into the gameplay.
absolutely.
Yeah. They want to make sure that everything makes sense. Which, I mean, other than iframes for a dash, I think most of it does make sense.
You know, well, iframes for a dash makes sense in a gameplay sense, but that's what they did,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
chose that more modern, more grounded game making framework, and still give you a little bit of the gamey aspect of it all. You know,
Yeah.
like that, and that's what you're looking for.
I like it that you have
When-
to run in to get your money. You have to make sure that you
Yeah.
head right into the battle. You
Oh, yeah.
can't stay from the sides and actually expect to have enough to fund your weapons.
Yeah, because
Exactly.
it doesn't just like
No, it doesn't
pull
suck
pull
in.
it to you. It doesn't
No.
suck in.
No, you can actually get different perks that'll increase your radius for
Yeah, I
pulling in
gotcha.
the currency.
Yeah.
But that's
I mean,
random.
but that's part of it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you kill some enemies and you're killing them at a distance. Then, well, you got to go in there and do some shopping.
You got to go.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah,
That's
it's
right.
like
Yeah.
you're always at risk, but that's kind of the trade-off, that risk versus reward. And the entire game is built around risk versus reward. You know,
Yes,
when you're
absolutely.
thinking about the what
Like
do they
the
call them?
different-
The
different
items, the purple
upgrades
items
and stuff
that
like
are-
that.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
malignant.
the
items.
malignant items.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. Like it's constantly risk versus reward. Do I want to pick up this item that I don't know what negative effect it'll have on me,
Yeah.
but I'm a badass, right? So I can take it. And then you pick it up and they're like, well, you can't pick up any more weapons. And it's like, oh, fuck. You know?
Until
Yeah.
you do 6 somethings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that,
Yeah,
though,
Until
that-
you
that
pick up
there's-
2 weapons.
Yeah, unlock condition. Oh,
Right. That doesn't actually happen. It doesn't actually happen. You know, I fear for it happening, but I
Yeah,
don't.
man.
It doesn't actually happen.
just get rolled
That's
on.
that's some late game
Our
bullshit right
Jesus
there.
is not my
Nope,
friend.
nope.
Our Jesus is no friend of mine.
Yeah, I think some of the perks end up or detriments end up working pretty well. Like there's an item that you can get that's a consumable, and it pretty much gets rid of any corruptions or malfunctions
Yeah.
that you have,
absolutely.
right? So you can grab one of those, and then you can run around and hit all your purples, and go ahead and get all the malfunctions you want, and then pop it, and then you have all the pluses, and you got rid of your stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. I ran into a parasite actually that
yeah.
allowed me to take one more hit after death. Right.
Oh, okay,
So a
cool.
fatal hit, I can take it. I'll come back
Yeah.
with a little bit of health, but it gives me 2 malfunctions. Right. And so you just have that item on deck that cures those malfunctions. And so I was fighting Frike. And here I am, and I posted this video.
That's
You
the
should
first
watch
boss,
it.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, the first
absolutely.
boss Frike. He's terrifying. He's got a slap that'll slap your soul out. You know, but that was the thing, right? So you know, the end of the battle came down to me killing Frike, but him also killing me. But
Yeah.
because I had that parasite,
Oh,
then
you
boom,
came
I
right back.
survive.
Yeah.
Now I have 2 malfunctions, but I've got an item right there. Cleanse those. Frike's dead, and I'm
Yeah.
feeling great.
Well, and that's what's
So you beat
interesting
him.
about
Nice.
the.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
That's what's interesting about that system is it adds another layer of strategy.
Totally.
You know, to not just the combat but your traversal as well.
Right.
You know, everything just kind of builds into the into each other
Yeah.
to create this
Yeah.
world and create this experience.
What's
You
that?
know.
What's that game? Hyper Light Drifter.
Hyperlight Drifter.
It's got
Yeah.
a little bit of that going on to it, you know. It's got a little bit of
Well, it's
Metroid Prime,
about to
right?
say,
You were
it's
talking
It
about
definitely has a
Metroidvania.
Metroid.
It's-
Well, I wouldn't
yeah.
say Metroidvania, but
No,
it definitely has that
Metroid
Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
feel,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, just
that's
that
the thing.
feeling of being on an alien planet.
Yeah.
And everything's out to get you,
Yeah.
right? But everything seems alive. Like everything seems to have a purpose. Like there's no reason why this random plant is growing in the ceiling
Right.
with its tendrils. You know, and then speaking of things like that, where you know there are those things kind of like in Half-Life where you get
Exactly.
up underneath them, they'll grab you, drag you up. You know, but they don't do damage to you until you get to the top. I was in a gunfight and I got to a point where I was actually using those to dodge enemy fire. You know, so
Oh,
instead
nice.
of jumping,
That's solid.
I get into those. They pull me up. The orbs that the enemies are shooting
Yeah.
are going underneath.
They're spreading
me.
all the
Then I
ground.
can dash
Yeah.
out of it, dash into another one. It'll pull me up. And
Yeah.
so once you really stop fearing your environment, you can really use it to your benefit in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and
you know,
that's
so
super
it's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah,
Man,
No,
I like
that a lot.
there's the upgrade that makes it where your melee attacks do more damage, and then there's an upgrade where you can get plus 25% to speed and protection once you get a melee kill.
Yes.
So you can just start
Look,
like
all
riding
right,
it.
here's one thing that everybody that plays Returnal needs to know. Use your sword.
Use your sword.
Use your
Oh,
sword.
yeah.
That sword is so ridiculously powerful.
Seriously.
You know, and you can even like jump cancel, right? Like jump past an enemy, move your left stick towards where the enemy is behind you, hit slash, and you will turn around and dash towards that enemy.
Oh,
and so
nice.
you can
It's a short
really
dash,
play
but
it's very short, but it's powerful. When you
Yeah.
hit them, they're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
You're probably
Yeah,
gonna, you're
dude.
gonna one shot most things, you know,
Yeah.
unless it's a mid boss or a boss.
Dude,
You
and
can bring one of those
it
treants
feels so
to their
satisfying
knees,
to
you know?
Oh
use
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
You feel so satisfying to use that sword.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
It's
Such
that's
a nice
the-
big
yeah.
plasma arc.
Oh yeah, and you
Yeah.
can extend the range of the sword and everything too. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's very well implemented. But I think it's one of those things that a lot of players, especially a lot of new players, will be kind of hesitant. It's like, okay, I
yeah.
use my sword as a last resort.
Well, that
Absolutely
that
not,
feeds
you know?
into the whole like once you get comfortable with the environment.
Oh
you know,
man,
Yeah.
it
Forward
opens up
is
a
the
lot
direction.
more. Yeah, it opens up a lot more opportunities, which is like what a good like Metroid style like environment needs to be. It needs that feeling of progressing and overcoming your environment,
Right.
rather
Yeah.
than being like, oh, I don't know what that thing is. It
Yeah.
looks big and it's got tentacles. Oh no.
Oh, you're gonna
Yeah.
feel that way at first every time.
Yeah.
Jesus, the guys, what are the Titan something? I forget.
Oh,
It's
the ones with
Titanops
the
or
crazy
whatever.
arm, they're all
Titan
built up.
Ops, yeah,
Yeah.
and they come and slam
Yeah.
on you, dude.
Yeah,
Woo.
yeah, they'll
They-
work you.
Yes, they will. That's probably the one that stomps me the most because if you're not paying attention, he'll just come down on you. You know,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
half your life. Boom.
Exactly.
Well, he'll be all the way on the other side of the environment and then just sling himself right to where you're at.
Just
That
know that
reminds
you're not
me-
safe wherever you
Yeah.
are. You're,
Yeah.
you're not safe.
Well, that reminds me of like Evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the enemies and the way that they move almost remind me of those guys from Evolve, like all the kaiju. I don't know what the hell are they
Yeah.
in Evolve.
I feel like a lot of games are kind of doing that. Like
Yeah.
with even like Call of Duty Zombies, you know,
Mhm.
with Outbreak, you know,
Yeah.
they're putting in those panzers that
Oh,
will
yeah.
just jump from
Yeah.
like 50 feet
Fuck
away,
those
60 feet
guys.
away,
Well,
and just land
fuck
very
those guys.
accurately
You haven't
right
seen
on your
these
ass.
fucking assholes, dude. They're
They're
They
almost like. Was it in Aliens? What was where they had those little suits?
the
those
yellow
re-
suit where
Yeah.
it's
Oh.
you know the
Okay.
one that
So,
Ripley's
like,
riding.
yeah,
Yeah, but there's
Yeah,
a
the
Nazi
power loader?
driving it.
Yeah,
except-
like
Yeah.
power loader.
Yeah,
There it
the
is.
power
Exactly.
loader.
But there's a
Yeah.
Nazi inside of it, and
Oh,
and,
no.
and it looks
Not-
like the
not a power loader Nazi.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you know they did put Hitler in a robot suit. in,
True, Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
That was a thing.
that was.
All right.
I guess
Nazis with
Nazis
power
have been in
bodies.
robots
Yeah.
before.
It's like, what do we do? We mutated them. Robot suits. Yeah.
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 We need Hitler and Krang together.
Right, right.
That's what we fucking need.
How do we fit these together?
That'd be a
Take the brain out,
funny
put the
concept.
Yeah, but-
Just have a Krang with a Hitler head.
Yeah,
or
man,
something.
that sounds great. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a little sassy.
I always like
Sassy
Krang.
Hitler.
Got great
Krang.
fashion sense.
Yeah.
Krang has those two little like.
Like little joysticks.
Yeah.
Like,
Sticks
how
and
does that
wraps
even
those
work, bro?
tentacles.
Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to work with you
Why
here,
don't you
but
just use a brain interface, dude? You are a brain.
you are literally a
Come
brain
on.
for real. You know,
Technology
I didn't even know that
hasn't
brains have
advanced that
tendrils.
fast.
You know, I didn't
Yeah.
think that brains could have like.
They
Little
can in
hands.
the Ninja Turtle verse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know. So,
I mean, I guess we're dealing with like talking rats and.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Are brains not having tendrils? Is that was the last
That's the line.
straw.
That's the line, man. You know, I can suspend my disbelief to a point.
Suspension
Now you've lost me.
broken.
All right, the Foot Clan, I was down with them.
Yeah.
Time to go.
So here's a hard question.
Yeah.
Is Returnal worth $70?
It depends on who you are.
Okay.
If you grew up in arcades, if you grew up loving arcade shooters,
Yeah.
if you grew up, loving games like Metroid, playing, I would say even go so far as to say, if you grew up in the NES, Super NES era
Yeah.
of, here's what you got is this gameplay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And if those styles of games are just really, really fun to you, then the answer is absolutely yeah. Because I mean, there's tons of replay value. There's tons to do. Now, if you are not a huge fan of those styles of shmups, if you are not, if you don't know what the word Akaraga means, then you probably have to question it, right? I
Yeah.
would say go do some research and then come back and talk to me.
That's salmon eggs, right?
Right. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
it might just be a bit too steep of a price for a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? Because I think that the biggest enemy of the game is that it doesn't explain anything, right? So for those people who need to be explained to. So those people who need to understand, okay, what am I supposed to do?
This drops you on
Where
your
am I
ass.
supposed to go? Like, yeah, you know, like I need
What
that
are
assistance.
these things? What is this thing? What does this do?
Right,
Yeah,
right, exactly.
You know?
And I'm afraid of everything, and because I'm afraid of everything, I keep dying, right?
Right.
So now I'm getting frustrated. Now I don't know if I want to play this game.
Yeah.
That
And those
person might feel
those-
slighted.
Yeah, well, I mean, and roguelikes kind of have that inherently in the gameplay.
Kind
Yeah,
of, but when you
kind
think
of.
about things like Binding of Isaac, okay,
Yeah.
like as you're progressing, you're still definitely
man, I
able.
love that game.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
in a short play session, you are very aware of your own progression.
True.
You know, just the nature of Returnal leads to long play sessions, especially if you're pretty good. You're taking your time, you're gauging.
absolutely.
You know, it's easy to spend an hour just in the first biome. You
Yeah.
know, before you even move on. Once you finish the boss, once you kill a boss of each biome, then it gives you a key, you unlock a transporter that takes you to the next biome, right?
So that's what that red gate is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you die in that biome, boom, you start all the way over. You know, you get your new procedurally generated map. And then you go out and you might run into that portal early. Right. And then you're like, oh, there's a portal. I'll go back to where I left off.
Yeah.
Wrong. You know? Wrong, dude. You do that, you go in there with a pistol if you want to, they're gonna murk you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Some of the weapons that may have worked very well for you in the first biome because the entire thing is canopied. You know, you're in caves, you're in ruins. The next area is actually wide open skies, right? And so I'm a huge fan of the electropylon driver, right? That is my jam.
And who
That is my
wouldn't
jam.
be?
So tell them
It
about the
depends.
electropylon
I'm
driver.
like, dude,
Go ahead.
Zato one character, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
trap characters are my thing.
Yeah.
Well, tell everybody about the electropylon.
Electropylon driver is an attack or is a weapon that actually shoots these electropylons, right? So it shoots these pylons that'll like stick into either the enemy or parts of the landscape. Okay.
Yeah.
And you put one down, it does a dot. It's a slow ticking dot, whatever, DOT, damage over time. You
Right.
put another one down. If they're close enough together, they connect together. And when I say close enough together, I'm saying anywhere within the realm of like 50, 60 feet. You know, like they can spread
it
out
can
pretty
be a
wide.
I saw that
The
fence
more
you
that
sent me,
they
man.
are, exactly. The
Yeah.
more that they are, the further out your range gets,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so you put those on an enemy. Now the coolest thing is you can actually put them on the terrain, put them on the floors, put them on the walls,
Use them as
and
kind
then
of
once-
mines and
Well,
whatnot.
exactly, right? But then find your enemy, shoot your enemy. If they're close enough, their pylon will attach to all the other pylons. So all that damage is now going to that one source, right?
Oh,
Absolutely
no.
sick.
Absolutely.
Furthermore,
Yeah.
the way
That's
that the
just
game,
murder.
the way that the game actually works, the way that it works for its weapons progression, each weapon that you pick up has a specific mod, right?
Right.
You unlock that mod, it unlocks a completely different firing mechanism for that weapon. So Electropylon Driver has one that's called a pylon web. So it shoots out, you know, usually you can shoot out up to 10 of these pylons. It shoots out all of them at one time and puts a web down, right? You get 2 shots, so you can just go boom, boom, and then that's just danger zone.
Is that what you were saying? Like I shot the pentagram out?
Oh yeah. Well, no. Actually, that was me drawing out a pentagram.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. That was me being like, okay. I was running from enemies, and what I did was I backed up. They couldn't see me, but I knew they were coming, so I popped out a pentagram on the ground.
Yeah.
And once they came around that corner, yeah, right. It was great, right? But
That's cool,
you end
man.
up getting like I said, the pylon web, in which case, you know, you can actually shoot all of them at one target. Now, if you are in the first area where everything is in ruins, everything is canopied, it's fine, right? You have enemies that can only fly up so high. If you shoot something super high, they might end up hitting it. The second area is open air. So all of a sudden, this badass weapon that worked so well in that first environment isn't quite as useful.
Right, because you don't have all the ceilings and
Now
like
you gotta
all
be
the
accurate.
different ruins.
Now you gotta think.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's really interesting how they've made even each individual weapon sometimes feel incredibly overpowered in OP.
Oh yeah.
But in some other aspects, it's like, oh wow, man, I
Nerfed.
gotta,
That reminds me of like Vagrant Story. You remember that?
Yeah,
You'd be going through
absolutely.
Vagrant Story,
Yeah.
you have something that kills in one room, and then all of a sudden you get to the next one. It's like everybody's impervious to that. You're not doing shit damage
Yeah.
at
right.
all.
Yeah.
You
So
gotta rework your entire
Mhm.
fucking equipment system.
You have to
Yeah.
every
But
so
that
often.
makes
yeah.
that makes me nervous. I mean, getting back to the original point, it makes me nervous for those people who don't have that natural inclination, because some people find one weapon that they're good with, and this is my gun.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this gun isn't effective anymore, and you're like, what the fuck is this, man?
Yeah.
What is this game?
Yeah.
So
You know, to touch on this real quick, that is part of the reason I didn't like Doom Eternal as much, is because I feel like they wouldn't let me just use my fucking weapon.
You have to use all of
You
it.
have to use
you have
all
to use
of
your
them.
arsenal.
And that was fine. It's not like it's a bad game
But
or
they
anything.
limited you
It
by
just-
ammunition. That was the whole thing.
exactly.
It's like eventually you're out of
Yeah.
ammo, so now I have to use this other weapon, right?
Right.
You know? But in Returnal, every weapon is just as viable as another.
And you don't have to worry about ammo except for the clip itself, or you know,
Absolutely.
that magazine.
So, which also brings up
Whatever.
the way that they handle movement accuracy and weapon accuracy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, you know, you most people will approach the game, always hold ADS, always hold the left trigger,
Right.
you know, aiming down the sight, shooting at the enemy. But this isn't Call of Duty. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Gears of War. It's Gears of War
Right.
esque as it feels with active.
Even though
reloads
you
and
think
such.
when you first look at it,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's not any of these things. It's like it's still an arcade based shooter, and it's like, yeah, man, take your finger off that trigger.
Whip
Hit
yourself,
You don't need that
whip it
trigger.
around,
You don't
man.
need it, you know?
You
Put them in
can
that
whip your
reticle.
screen,
You're gonna do work
you know?
for it, you know. Yeah,
Well,
have confidence.
with the
Get up
shotgun,
on 'em with the sword.
Yeah,
You
Get
know,
up on
like-
them with a sword, or you know, and with that shotgun. What's that thing called? What do they call it?
dude, I can't think of what any of these.
They,
things are
they're
called.
all
They're
convoluted.
all weird.
That's
yeah,
yeah.
the
it's all
shotgun,
jargon,
the
all jargon.
carbine, that's what I'm referring to them
Right,
as. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I use the carbine most of the time. I feel like it's the most, well-rounded, just because, I like that kind of gun in general.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like your fallback weapon. You always want your.
Old faithful.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And plus, the carbine on here is so dope. It's all
It is.
H.R. Geiger looking. And
Yeah.
because
Dude,
that's
all
the
of
thing
it,
I gotta.
all of it
yeah.
so far, from what I've seen, has been in that H.R. Geiger kind
Yeah.
of Lovecraft kind of
Absolutely.
area, but it's definitely its own thing, which is
Yeah.
what's most impressive, because a lot of
Yes.
times you get to like stuff that's inspired by that kind of art style, and it just kind of looks like just a rehash, like they just went through an
reiterative,
art
yeah.
where they just went through an art book and was like, that looks cool, this
I'm gonna
actually
recreate
feels
that.
like
Yeah.
its own thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the artifacts look like they've been there. Everything's grown around them, and for a
Yeah.
procedurally generated world, like it feels so
Oh,
lived in. It's
Right,
so
right.
It's
Well, I mean,
impressive.
They do use a seed system, so
Yeah.
I mean, as you progress through, you will you will notice like, okay, I've been to
Yeah.
this room before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
now enemy placement is going to be different, item placement, everything is going to be different, and these things are going to be different. They're going to be in a different sequence.
But each
but
room
after a
sells
while-
it, dude.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, just so I know, before we move too much further, how far have you played?
Just to the first boss.
Okay.
I haven't
so
got
you
to the second
killed
biome
Frank.
yet. Yeah.
Because once you, spoilers, is this?
We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
good. We do like to say that though. Spoilers
Spoilers if anybody
Well, I
cares.
mean, it's a very minor thing, but after
Yeah.
you kill the first boss and you open the second biome, you're able to go back to your ship. All right.
Yeah.
And when you go back to your ship, you actually unlock daily challenges.
Oh.
Daily challenges are
Hmm.
absolutely ridiculously sick. So they give you they give you a set of objectives.
Yeah.
You'll have a buff. In this case, I think it was like, what was it? Like your ammo automatically, I don't know, something.
Is this a day in real time or a day in like game
It's a day in
time?
real time. You have
Okay.
24 hours. So hopefully I'll have a new one today.
Yay!
I don't know what time it refreshes.
Yeah.
But what they'll do is they'll give you, a couple of debuffs, a buff, and then this time at least, they give you a very powerful weapon.
No.
A very powerful weapon. And you're going through a biome just
Right.
trying to accumulate a score.
You mean like a 5, 6?
Oh, this thing's like a 6-shot homing. It shoots like homing energy bolts that like basically 2-shot everything. They let you feel the power. Basically, what they're doing is, okay,
That
here's Returnal Arcade. You know,
Yeah.
here's Returnal
Nice.
Arcade, and so
That's
it's really, really
awesome.
cool. Like if you don't have, because a lot of arguments about the game are playtimes just take a long time without there being like a save point, which I really do believe. All you have to do is let you save and quit, and then once you reload, delete the save. But we
But still.
we know how people are. We back up that save file and
Yeah,
et cetera,
or
et cetera,
do
et cetera.
something. Yeah.
But it gives you a way to enjoy the game in a bite-sized format,
Which
Like,
is
if
good.
you- absolutely,
Yeah, which
it's
is
what
great.
it needs.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it needs. So I think that a lot of reviewers, they're like, well, if I jump into the game, I'm going to be spending, 3-4 hours playing. I don't have
Yeah.
that kind of time. I got a job, got kids, got wife. I got things to do.
But you can do
There
your dailies
is
now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's an option for you if you just want to spend a little bit of time playing and just feel the game
Yeah.
without having to really, you know, worry about leveling up your character.
Yeah,
you know, and just surviving.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, it's a really cool thing to check out.
Well,
super neat.
so what do you think about the idea of a multiplayer mode? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it would work? You know, you think they could do a Soulsy shattered reality kind of infringing on each other thing to make it work with the story?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, because it would have
that
to
was
work
kind
in
of
with
the
the
only
story,
way I
right?
could figure.
They're
It,
not
it would
gonna-
never work with the story. Only because the story is,
You seeing yourself dead.
well, it is
Yeah.
you being isolated.
Well, what if it was a
Yeah.
phantom
you,
of
you know,
you know?
well, or another you.
Yeah, it is
you know,
a phantom of
like,
another
like,
you.
like that could work, but I do feel like it would break that sensation of feeling alone.
So-
I feel
okay,
like
so what if
that's
they made a
more
specific-
important part of the game. Now, I think what they could do is lean into the arcade side of it all.
Yeah, make a
right?
mode just
if
for
they
that.
did exactly
Yeah.
like with the daily challenges. When you play through that, things like that in
okay.
multiplayer,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Paraga's got two ships. You know,
Yeah.
you watch old videos of one guy running through the whole thing with 2 controllers.
Fuck
And it's
that
absolutely
dude.
mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I love him. You know,
Oh
he did-
yeah,
I mean,
but
fuck
it's
him,
just
but I love him.
like,
That's just
I
one of
think-
those things that you see somebody do, and you're just like, man, fuck you.
oh,
Right,
octopus
exactly,
hands
exactly.
over there.
You know, in a story sense, though, I don't know if I'd want to see multiplayer, only because I
Yeah.
do like that bit of terror that comes along with being isolated, being alone
Yeah.
in this foreign
Yeah.
environment, and
Huh.
Well, I think ultimately, I don't know. I mean, you guys are pretty much saying this, but it's just like there's really not a way that they could fit it into the story and have the like what's actually going on in the game make any
Makes
sense.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. I
if
feel like-
if there were people bouncing in and out, even if they did do it in like a Dark Souls fashion where it's more you see the phantoms and they justify it as, well, this is just a look at another possible future or
Right.
whatever, you know, some shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are definite possibilities in that direction. I just think that it would, you know, it would kind of destroy the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and the mood is one of the shining points of this game as a whole, I think. I think
Yeah,
that they've
absolutely.
really done a great job of creating almost a horror-esque atmosphere.
Oh,
like when you're
easily,
walking
yeah.
through the
Yeah.
house and all these sounds are going on around. Now, are we
Oh.
going to talk about 3D audio? Is that going to be a thing?
Well,
It's
I
'cause-
would like to talk about the audio and the visuals because those are the
Absolutely.
only
Yeah.
two things we really haven't touched on about
Right.
it. So let's talk about that.
The audio
Because,
is
I mean, the-
fucking amazing.
Well, it is. It's one of the best usages of 3D audio.
He's
that-
totally wearing the platinums right now,
Oh,
so that's
yeah,
what you
absolutely,
wear at the
absolutely.
house.
This is
you
what
know?
it feels super cozy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, I mean, really, the 3D audio does a lot to make it. When you're in the middle of a firefight and all of a sudden you hear this like behind you, it's like, oh my God, there's somebody right on my 6. You know, I need to readjust.
Yeah, man.
When you're walking through the house and you're hearing footsteps up above you, it sounds like they're up above you.
Right,
You know, so
yeah.
all of a sudden there'll be times where you'll just stop and be like, do I want to go up there? You know, it's like, and so I really think that they've done an excellent job in creating like a semi horror experience. You know, if you're faint of heart, like I'm desensitized and it terrifies me. You
Yeah,
know, so
exactly.
I'm sure there are a lot of people that are just like, I don't know, man, like this is stressful.
Yeah, and the enemies come at you in ways that you're not used to, so they'll definitely fuck with you really hard, man. The sounds that they make are terrifying.
Oh,
and
it's
the-
so good. I don't-
Wow.
How they came up with some of this stuff. The sounds of all the different weapons.
And the sounds
you
that come
know?
through your controllers are super cool too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I was about to say. So the transport points.
Oh, the portals?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the portals. They sound really unique
Because there's two kinds.
Yeah.
There's the spot to spot, right?
Yes.
And that's just those are little ones, and they're cool, but they just kind of have this like kind
Yeah.
of thing. But when you walk in the
Well, it's
bigger
kinda- it's a
translocators,
low
it feels
purr.
like you're low per.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it feels like you're in a like a sphere of sand. Like it has this rub to it, this sandpapery.
You know,
like,
you have all
grit.
these individual orbs that are all
Yeah.
rendered completely, like they all have reflections. They all seem to have texture. Everything seems to
Yeah.
have texture, you know, and that's one of the shining points of
just break
their
apart.
usage of the dual sense is everything has texture to such a degree.
Yeah.
Like when you first touch down, when you first start up the game, everyone notices the raindrops. Right? So I mean,
I
that's
handed
the
it to
first
him, and he was like, "Oh,
right? You notice it, right? And then you progress, and you know, everything has a tactile sensation.
Absolutely.
To the point that when you become, I streamed for 10 hours straight yesterday, like just obsessed, right? By close to the end, I wasn't really noticing a lot of the environmental haptics anymore.
Yeah.
It just really felt like that's just how the environment.
Well, that's
was,
yeah.
you know,
that's
like,
that's the
now-
immersion taking over.
Yeah,
right there. Yeah.
right. And so it's amazing. Like now, if you took it away from me, then there's that thing. If you took it away from me, then I would definitely notice. But I found myself focusing more on, okay, what vibrations am I getting from my weapon? You know, what vibrations am I getting from my my alt fire? You know?
Yeah.
So things like that.
Oh, hey, what about that trigger, man?
Right,
I feel like the stop is a little weak. You know, like I feel like it could be a little bit stronger than that.
Really? You think
well, that's because I'm thinking about a GameCube controller.
Oh, gotcha.
That has that
Right.
chunk to it. You know,
Yeah,
it's got the
yeah, the good click.
Yeah, but other than that, like once I got used to the depth of it, solid, and it has a good spot that it rests on, and then you push in, and then you get the secondary fire. You know,
Yeah,
it feels significant. I like the whole sound and haptic response to as soon as you get your secondary fire back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean?
Yeah. That's everything. You don't have to watch your icons. All of a sudden, you feel that charge.
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
like, oh,
Ready to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it does. It makes every action a very rewarding action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you guys think about the
you have
graphics?
that-
The way it looks.
That looks
Oh,
like
it's-
shit, dude. This is like one of the worst games that I've ever seen. I can't believe they actually put this on PlayStation 5 as an exclusive. You know, we could have done this on the GameCube. Probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that teleport thing. That's
It's
the
too
first
much.
time when you first see the teleport.
Yeah.
You know? So okay.
I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool as shit.
Every
I will spend like a good 3 to 5 minutes sometimes just like staring at nothing. You know what I'm
Staring?
saying? Just like
Yeah.
looking at some vines and be like, really, guys? You know, because their lighting engine is also absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
You know,
gorgeous.
it really is.
Thinking about all the volumetric fog that you have
Yeah,
everywhere,
yeah.
and all
Well, the way the
light
grass,
and the way the
like-
light refracts through all the fog.
Absolutely. Well, and the way like the
the
plants on the
sfogy.
ground that you walk through,
Yeah.
the way they react to you, and like the way the wind or whatever, you
Yeah.
actually feel like you're in this environment.
The low fog is super dense, but then the higher
The high
fog will be
fog.
nice and
It seems like they actually intermingle, like they're
Uh-huh.
part of one and the same.
Yeah.
And so once again, it just creates that feeling of life.
So, Housemarque has been doing some impressive things with their particle systems in pretty much all the
Always.
past
Yeah.
couple of
That's their
games. Yeah, if not the entire library.
That's their thing. It's just
They've
like,
always
flood the
loved.
screen.
They love
They love
particles.
that.
They love physics. They
yeah.
love all this stuff. So it turns out
music.
this game is made in Unreal Engine 4.
Yes.
And they made their own plug-in system just for the particles. So
Oh,
they figured
cool.
out how to take their cool particle engine and make it into a plug-in now. So now if they want to use it for whatever, they can.
No,
you know?
and potentially other people could use that plugin.
I doubt they're going to give
they're not
anybody
gonna-
that.
No, that's
like,
their
no, this
thing.
is
that's what definitely defines them. Because I mean,
Well,
that-
absolutely,
That's
yeah.
that's the most interesting thing. I was going to touch on ray trace audio, but we'll just skip that for now. But they have an opportunity right now to reach an entirely different player base. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Most people who've played Housemarque games, they know Resogun. You know, they may know Super Stardust Ultra. They may know these games. They still may not know who Housemarque is.
No,
You
that's
know?
the
They
thing.
know
It's just
it's like, oh, here's a pack-in game that came with my PS3. You know,
yeah, and
here's
that's
the
it.
first game that I bought from the PlayStation Network on my PS4.
And they don't really know who developed
They
it.
don't- they don't think
They
about it.
just
They're
know
like, hey, this
about,
was
hey,
fun.
yeah, here's a
Yeah.
fun game.
Right. And
Particles.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere.
Particles. So many particles, which is confusing for a lot of people. And so I think that right now it's almost like a reset for I hate to say a more casual audience, but
Yeah, because I
an
don't know
audience
that this is
doesn't
at
know.
all for a casual audience.
Well,
God damn, it's going to kick your teeth
no,
in.
But with it being, the beginning of a new console
Yeah.
cycle, there's a higher likelihood that people who may not know their work or know the company
Yeah.
may try the game in order to have something new to try, right? Like,
Right.
here's
yeah.
this very pretty game that just came out for my brand new console. I'm gonna buy
And I
it
don't
'cause
really
it looks
have
cool.
a whole hell of a lot of other options.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I have no. I don't know anything about this. All I know is that it looks cool.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm sitting around the house anyway. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Might as
you know?
well, yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
this is an opportunity for them to really kind of step out, not necessarily into the mainstream, but close enough, because they deserve money, man.
Absolutely.
They deserve a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
So
yeah. As a fan of Housemarque, paying $70 for this game is not hard for me.
Nope, they can have it.
But I
Yep.
could see some people looking at it as the game type that it is and going, I don't know if a roguelike's worth $70.
Yeah.
But they would be short selling it by saying that.
Right.
You know, that just means that they've only played real simple roguelikes, and they're not thinking of it in the full breadth of what this is.
Well, and the simple roguelikes seem to be the ones that are saturating the market right now.
Dude, I like a lot of them. Like you were saying, Binding of Isaac.
I'm not
you guys
saying
ever
they're
played,
bad. Yeah.
You know, Hades
is
Rogue
really
Legacy.
fun.
You know, like these are dope games. You know.
Yeah, but again, there's that barrier to entry for a lot of people.
Well, I think it's also the same, kind of like Souls-like, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that the cult following ends up determining its future mainstream presence. You know, because Demon's Souls comes out as a launch game for the PS5.
Absolutely.
And it sells very well, right? Now, rewind like 5-6 years ago, people are like, oh, Souls games, unless you love Souls games, you're not checking for it. You're not going to pick it up.
Seriously.
And so I think a lot of these more hardcore genres or more niche genres are finally hitting a point where the visual flair is there to tickle the needs of a lot of more casual gamers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
okay, at least give me a feast for my eyes. If I suck, I suck. I just won't play
Absolutely.
the game.
People want the pretties, man.
They want the
People
pretties.
do want the
They
pretties.
want the pretties.
Yeah.
so
And
they
the
have a
pretties
great
are
opportunity.
important.
They're
Pretties,
very, very
yeah.
important. Oh, yeah,
You
but they
know?
nailed the pretties, boy.
Yeah.
And so,
mean,
like, I do. I
shit.
just think that this could be a really cool opportunity for them to, you know, step out and let people know,
Yeah.
hey, here's who we are.
Absolutely.
You know, here's what we do, and we do it very well.
Do you think this is a bad timing for the game coming out right before Resident Evil 8?
I needed it to come out before Resident Evil 8.
You
because
need
if it came
something
out,
to do. I gotta have it.
No. I say because if it came out after Resident Evil 8, because here's the problem, right? Playing Returnal takes time. Okay. Once Resident Evil 8 comes out, I know that I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 8.
Yeah,
I'm not going to
absolutely.
take a Returnal break except for to do my dailies.
Yeah.
Because if I took a Returnal break, that's 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
And I could be making progress through Resident Evil, right?
Right,
So once
absolutely.
Resident Evil 8 is finished, then oh man, I'm right back on Returnal, and I'm going to
Right,
spend a lot of time there.
but once 8 comes out,
Well, because
that's-
it's a lot easier to swallow for most gamers. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely,
You're
yeah.
going from point A to point B to point C. You're heading towards point X down there. Like
Mm-hmm.
we can understand that, right?
You're not looking at as much of a like overall encompassing time sink.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, and so that's why I think that this timing is it's a good time because you know people are a little thirsty for something new.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of those games that isn't really designed to be burned out in a week or 2 weeks.
No.
You know?
Yeah,
we'll be
yeah,
playing
it's
this
not.
one for the
It's
next
one of the-
couple of years.
Yeah, I'm about to say that's one of those games that I put on my. Well, I guess I'm playing this forever. list.
Right. This is a part of my life now. So
Yeah,
I mean, I go back to Resogun all the time. That's still probably my favorite of the Housemarque games. I don't know why. It just happens to be. I
Oh,
guess
sick.
I'm a big
'cause it's
Defender
good.
fan, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that I don't know, man. All the Housemarque games feel that way. This one just feels like, oh, Housemarque made a AAA title now.
Right.
Cool.
Good.
Didn't know you could do that.
They're like, yeah, we can.
We got Resident Evil Village. We got
Yeah,
Ratchet
I'm
and Clank.
actually super
Ratchet and
excited
Clank.
for
Yeah.
Resident
You
Evil
saw
Village.
you saw the state of play the other day, right?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think of Ratchet and Clank?
I mean, it looks like Ratchet and Clank, so
Looks
it's
like
probably
Ratchet
going
and
to be fun.
What's the
know?
lady Ratchet?
I don't.
called?
Okay, so what's the big?
Rachel.
Yeah, yeah.
I just completely made that up.
Clank.
I didn't even watch it.
Sprocket or
It's not
something.
Ratchet. It's like wrench or something.
Yeah, it's a wrench. Her name's Wrench.
Power drill.
Power drill.
Grinder. That's her name.
You know, cool. I could go with a the gender swap Clank. That's or not Clank.
Roll 43, is that it?
Ratchet.
Rule 34.
Roll
43. Is that the gender swap rule?
Yeah, I know it's one of them.
Maybe it is now.
I don't know. I swapped the numbers on the gender.
We got a new rule.
We make new rules here.
But no, I mean, again, it looks like Ratchet and Clank, so it's
Yeah.
probably going to be fun because Ratchet and Clanks are usually fun. The dimension jumping mechanic doesn't like it. Again, this is I'm sure this is early gameplay footage. Okay, so I imagine that they could.
I
think
think
that's
more
pretty
it's
final.
this is a demo.
Yeah.
That's the way
But
to
I
put
think
it.
where we are right now, it's pretty final.
Yeah, we're getting what we're seeing.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is like you're getting what you're getting, but what I'm saying is it's earlier in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
okay.
Yeah, this is like, maybe first or second, like, area,
Right.
And
Which I don't want to see any further than that.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is gonna get
But
weird.
the dimension hopping mechanic doesn't really read like they're gonna do it. Like it doesn't really do much except change the scenery around what's actually going
Well,
on.
I don't
I-
think we
I don't know.
Yet. I
Yeah.
don't know that we know yet.
We don't,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I'm just saying that's my only complaint with it is I don't know if they're gonna go quite as far as I would like to see them go with that mechanic.
I think
But
that mechanic is
again, this is early days. We don't know yet.
Well, I think that using Returnal as a guideline, as a base, kind of gives us an idea of what to expect with Ratchet and Clank. Because the name of the game now is fast transfer rates, right? You know,
Right.
just being able to move through an environment, a very large environment, or multiple environments,
Yeah,
with zero load times. right?
exactly. Yeah,
And so
that's the big
playing
thing.
around with that technology, which is clearly what Naughty
it's
Dog
very-
is going for.
yeah,
That's
and
that's
it's-
what it is. It's all about just all right. We can take you from the desert to space
Yeah.
into an ocean in seconds.
Yeah.
all right?
Mhm.
Which is
I
cool,
think-
and I like it. But yeah,
I mean, the jury's out, right? But
yeah,
I remain hopeful for these things because it
Yeah.
does enable you to tell a story and create challenges in a very unique way. Even if there's something that's okay, what you're going through this portal, you're shooting these things, right? Sashing this portal, now you're doing some platforming. Sashing this portal, now you're swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all these things that we've done before, but we haven't done them in sequence, like rapid sequence, like that.
right, right.
I think that it basically enables developers to take old concepts and make them new through
Freshen them up a little bit.
right?
Yeah.
Just through structure,
Yeah.
structure alone. Like,
Yeah.
Think about something like Demon Souls. Demon
Yes.
Souls, one of the biggest problems with Demon Souls, especially when it first come out, is you get your ass beat and then you had to wait for minutes for
Yeah.
that shit to load, and you
Uh-huh.
think about where you fucked up, and
We
you're
don't
sitting
wait
there just
anymore.
going,
yeah,
and
Right.
now you die, you load back up in the
Yeah,
Nexus.
You get right back
Yeah,
into it.
You're good.
Yeah.
You know?
absolutely.
You don't have time to think.
No,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
and that's
Well, and I can see how the dimension hopping thing, and if they do push it in that direction, I'd be a little bit more satisfied because that adds a lot of
I
variety
think that's
in
their
the
goal.
gameplay.
I think that's
Yeah.
what the whole
You
thing.
know?
Because what else are you gonna do with Ratchet and Clank? Honestly?
Yeah, I
Like,
got you.
Yeah, like Crash 4. I think.
Well, they all they're the Ratchet
what's
and
up with
Clank in
Crash 4?
there-
Did you get
yeah.
Crash 4?
No, I've got some friends that are playing it right now, and the general consensus is that it's hard as fuck.
Oh.
Yeah,
cool.
right.
Okay, because I
It's,
bought it, but I
yeah.
haven't actually played it yet.
That made me
so.
excited.
Yeah, right? Oh.
I know.
It's like
You mean the
we keep
hitboxes
dying.
are terrible?
Exactly,
Yay!
for real. It's like, oh, you're mad? Oh, you're mad? Oh, God, I can't wait to play it. So.
Yeah, that's like this Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be hitting other consoles and PC at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know when. So I mean, that's going to be a day one purchase for PlayStation.
Absolutely.
I almost thought about getting a Switch just for that stupid game, and I'm glad that I didn't because I don't think that's worth the purchase just for
Oh
that.
yeah.
No,
You know,
it's not.
Aw.
but
Yeah, no.
yeah. I mean,
Beat up on my Switch, man.
I love my Switch. I put thousands of dollars into that.
Yeah,
thing. It's
but-
just I got sick of buying Mario Kart 8 again.
Yeah.
Quit selling me the same game. That's all. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like,
Give me some new shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man. If you had a Wii U, then it's tough to feel good about the Switch.
it can
You know,
be.
or at least
Yeah.
at the beginning of the console, you were just
I
going,
gotcha.
well, shit.
Yeah.
I already
I
did
think-
this.
Yeah,
It's
because that's the
even-
thing is like they're all new. All those games are new to me because I didn't have a Wii U.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
They're all
Yeah.
new.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, but if you did
So
and
I'm
you,
just like, yeah,
you
come
got
on, put
Mario
everything
Kart
on this thing.
and you
Hey,
paid for
3D
all the
3D World.
DLC and you
Yeah,
you
3D
bought all
World.
this stuff and
Oh
then
yeah.
you get your Switch and it's like, all right, well, do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay, I will.
Yeah, I
You know?
gotcha. I mean, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna be happy
I'm
about
not
it.
gonna be happy about it until I start playing it, and then I'll be happy. But I'm gonna complain right now.
Yeah.
Man, they're just gonna have to fix the situation with libraries moving forward too, because I mean, Nintendo's, I guess, better about it now. But they're just not. Huh? I'm trying to be nice. They're not.
I think
They're
that
just-
the days of being nice to Nintendo because they're Nintendo are past.
Yeah, fuck 'em
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
You guys
Nintendo
have to nut up and be
Well,
a business
they've
like
kind of
everybody
driven their
else.
line in the sand and let you know, like,
They
we're a
have.
business first,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and that is
They've stopped trying to be your friend.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, because it's like I said, like the McDonald's method, right? You charm them as children and you have them for life.
Yeah.
And I think that they feel like, okay, well, we've got a lot of you for life, and they're right. You know,
And
they put out a new console.
they're
I'm
not
going
wrong.
to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to. You know, it's like I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Now this new Switch that's supposed to be on the horizon,
Yeah.
Switch HD or
Pro,
4K,
Pro,
Switch
whatever they
whatever,
decide to call it.
Switch Ultra.
Switch
They need to
next.
bring back the Ultra Switch D4.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they need to bring.
Switch
They need to just bring that back,
Yes.
dude. I'd buy it.
I'd buy just
Yeah,
on the
dude.
naming scheme
Yeah.
right there.
And
Be
bring
one
back
of
the KI announcer. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
we're good to go. But I feel like
Green combo.
Green combo. I feel like a lot of people would, man. They'll just buy it because one thing that you can count on from Nintendo is good first party titles like
that. Yeah, that are
you can count
typically pretty fun.
Yeah, you can't count on Microsoft for good first party titles. Let me fucking tell you that.
You can count on them
Not
closing
anymore.
some doors. They will. They'll buy.
Hey, we bought this studio and it's sitting over there.
Yeah, they made a Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
yeah,
Rare.
not so
Hey,
much.
you guys are cool to have on a banner, not
Right.
use at all.
Yeah,
you know?
for real.
Look, we own Rare.
What are you doing with them? They're on the banner.
They're on the banner. You didn't see the banner? See? No. I don't know. I wonder if I can find an Ultra 64 shirt.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
My problem is that I have too many thoughts.
Yeah, it's just
that's something that
go find
give
out
it
for
time.
yourself, guys.
Yeah,
like you have
absolutely.
to like he said, put
It's-
your hands on it. It's
Yeah.
You gotta feel it.
You definitely need to feel it, not only in the sense of controlling it, but
Yeah.
also feeling those haptics.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what's some bullshit that I just thought of, man.
What's that?
Right now, pandemic situation,
Yes.
they're not gonna have consoles set up that people can put their hands on the controllers.
No.
And
Like,
because
you're talking
of
about those demo
like,
display.
exactly like
yeah.
they've always had forever, you know.
Right.
They're not gonna do that with the PS5.
Yeah, they don't have.
They don't
They've
need
taken
to.
a lot of those down.
Yeah, but somebody just walking up and feeling those haptics.
Yeah, those kids would have like Doritos on their hands and
They'd screw up those triggers.
I mean, but
and- yeah, I
truthfully
know.
speaking, I don't think that. I think it would be a cool thing if people
Yeah.
were able to actually, feel it and get a sense of it themselves.
Yeah.
But with the marketing juggernaut that Sony is, and right now they would never have to advertise PS5 again, and they would sell every single one that hit the streets.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like
At this point, people are so fucking thirsty to get their hands on them.
right,
you know?
exactly,
Like-
exactly. And so I feel like I feel like I cut out, but like I have no audio. There we go. Okay, much better.
Oh, sorry, it's an
but
adapter, man. I'm
It's
sorry.
all good. It's like that sometimes. We live, we move on. But I feel like it's almost like a prize in the Cracker Jack at this point. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like you get your new console, you're like, okay, I've heard about these adaptive triggers. I've heard about,
Right.
this haptic feedback, blah, blah, blah.
You
blah.
at this
But
point,
I
you
got my
probably
game.
already know what you're getting into.
You
for
have
the
an
most part.
idea.
Yeah.
But then when it hits you, when you're playing COD Zombies and you get the like Howard 77 shotgun in your hand, you fire that motherfucker for the first time, you're like, I'm in the future.
This is
Yeah.
it.
You know, like
This
here it
is
is. This is what I paid for. you
Yeah,
know? And so,
for real.
You're absolutely right. I think I need to stop saying I think. I always say I think. GameStop is actually reformatting to create a more interactive environment. So I think that you will see more like demo kiosks and things like that as time progresses.
It'll take a little time for everything to get normalized back out,
Exactly.
but
People are hungry for it. They don't care, man.
Yeah.
well, man, once we get for instance, the haptic technology, one of the things we're really looking forward to is the haptic triggers and feedback in PSVR 2 controllers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Aim
that would be
controller.
nice.
That's going to be an entire new thing. We want a new aim controller. Of course, I haven't said anything about that, but I just don't see them not doing it.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
We're going to have to buy that too. Yeah, that's right.
They're gonna give us an aim controller that actually has like a shoulder sling, so you can put that on, and then they'll give us like 2 controllers for our hips, like for like move controllers, and then you'll have holsters for those.
Pull
Then
out
we're
a
gonna have
sidearm.
Yeah, there you go. We'll have our haptic vests on. It'll be great. We're gonna have our shoes with like tracker wheels on them, like roller skates,
so that you can
kinda
slide in
slide,
place.
yeah.
Slide in
Like
place.
you'll be tied to like the ceiling in different directions, so whenever you jump.
Oh yeah. I guess if we're going all the way, let's go all the way. Then you can like flip upside down. Do like Matrix style shooting.
Yeah, dude.
I think the
You might
closest
as
thing,
well.
the closest thing we've ever gotten to that was Sega's Activator, I believe.
Oh, totally. Yeah, the
Yeah.
octagon.
That's the way that they advertised it.
That was it didn't work like that.
Not at all.
It was actually pretty shitty. Have you seen that? It's
VR
like the-
only just got good. We've been dealing with this for a while.
Have you seen the yoke? It's like the yoke VR thing. So imagine like a half circle, a half sphere that has a seat in it, and it's got a motorized bottom, and you're able to
tilt.
Yeah, so it's got USB plugs all in it and everything, and then from the base you plug it into your PC. And for stuff like Elite Dangerous or Squadrons or that kind of thing, it works and it gives you just that little bit of movement.
Right?
It's
so
not
like a ride.
Yeah, it's not a crazy amount, but I want to say this thing's less than $1,000, for something that you can have in your house that gives you that kind of. And I'm not saying this is for everybody.
No,
but if you're a big flight sim guy, if you're that kind of thing, I
would want one for Squadrons alone.
Just for Squadrons,
absolutely.
just for something like that, or even what's that game up? Ultra Wings VR.
Yes.
Even something simple like that with the glider and just being able to feel that little bit of tilt when you do it.
That would be
put
cool.
some
Awesome.
fans in there for you.
You can have it set up as a stick in the center or sticks on the side too. So either way.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So the controller is a part of the seat. There's a seat.
No,
and
you
then
gotta buy
there's
your
the-
controller separately.
You
gotta.
man, I'm telling you, they make it hard for you.
I mean,
If
you
they just
gotta-
sell you a
you gotta
flight
huge-
stick with it, man. Come on.
Right, and all these things that won't be useful in a year anyway.
Absolutely.
But
You-
they're really
it's
cool when they're really cool.
It's a really cool money sink. Is
Yes,
what it is.
absolutely.
I will
Excellent.
say, since this is PC tech, it should last longer.
Yeah, theoretically.
Theoretically,
I haven't heard anybody say anything about the 3D rudder lately. That's just
everybody was all about it. Oh, 3D rudder. 3D
Uh-huh.
rudder. I love
And
hearing
there's like,
Polish
"Ooh,
Paul.
sweep
the
that
3D
right under the-
rudder.
Yeah.
Whoops. That guy's hilarious,
Yeah,
man.
he's good.
Or some cheat like this.
I just miss those days of okay, that's it. Goodbye.
That's it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
If you guys don't know Polish Paul VR, please watch his
check him
channel.
out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Subscribe to that man. He's
He puts
awesome.
out a lot of
It's funny.
content.
Yes, he does.
works hard.
Yeah, man. Sometimes misinformation too, but that's okay.
Well, he gets excited.
He gets real
excited. He wants to
excited.
talk about it. That's it, man. And I understand that. I feel like there aren't enough avenues for us to have these conversations.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
if you can find anybody who's excited about the exact same thing and wants to talk about it, by
Go
all
for
means,
it.
Say you're sorry later. Be like, oh, hey, I was wrong about that. It may not come out until 2026.
Ask for forgiveness.
Well, how are you guys at this point with the information that we got? How are you guys feeling about the Resident Evil 4 VR coming out soon?
Looks great.
I'm excited for it. I'm more excited for what that means for the future of VR and seeing AAA titles ported over to the VR space.
I got
you.
So maybe
because
this could kind of open the door for
a
like
gateway.
remakes and remasters.
Totally. It's a
like-
gateway. It's
yeah.
a gateway for those, multi-billion-dollar companies who've been snubbing VR for all this time. Shame, shame, shame on you. Wherever I'm pointing, shame.
You should
All right?
feel
shame,
bad.
Shame. Yeah, and so we first saw it with Doom and Doom 3.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil 4 has a chance to really. I mean, Half-Life Alyx wasn't enough, and that's ridiculous.
Right,
So,
yeah.
So Resident Evil 4 has that ability, if it sells very well, which it will, to really kind of pique some more interest and make people put more time and effort into VR software instead of doing like, oh, here's Iron Man.
Well, if
here's
this comes,
man.
yeah, exactly.
Here,
If
this should be at
comes-
Disney World.
Exactly. Well,
yeah,
if this
it's
comes
super
out and is successful,
That's what it is.
it like proves that you don't need strictly first-person games,
Right.
to make a VR experience.
Third person works very well in
Yeah,
VR.
Totally does.
Absolutely.
It works very, very well in VR. And I would love to see more because a lot of people would love just to be able to think about Moss, right?
Yeah.
Just being
Yeah.
able to look at a diorama from different perspectives.
Yeah,
and figure
absolutely.
out a puzzle. Like sometimes you have to
Look
kind
at
of
these
look
little
down
creatures.
Yeah.
I like little
And-
characters.
And that's what I personally.
Or you,
there,
you get
yeah.
up
you
and
know?
go,
Uh-huh.
"Oh,
Exactly.
it's
So it was
there.
right in
It's
there.
like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So-
see, stuff like that would be something that I would be more interested in because I'm not really that big of a fan of like just the first-person perspective in
Right.
general.
That makes a lot of people sick, too.
Well, there's a handful of games that I like. I just don't like the fact that I can't see behind me or to the sides.
Right.
I've always been way more of a I need to see my character.
Well,
You
but
know,
does
like
it-
in
does-
Skyrim, I never go into first person.
but do you
mode.
feel
I
that
play in
way?
third person?
Yeah.
Really?
I
But
play
hey,
in third person.
do you feel
Huh.
that way when you're able to look around though? Because I mean, that's a kind of a
Now,
different
a
thing.
lot of
right?
people
di-
don't do that.
It's
You-
a different
you're right.
thing.
You're right, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
People, they'll
you-
still
did
be
you guys
eyes forward,
ever?
gun forward?
Did you guys ever check
Yeah.
out that Portal documentary thing? Like in Portal, how you could unlock documentary sections? You know what I'm talking
No.
about?
I would say maybe.
There's a thing where once you play through the game, you're able to, in each room, there's like a little icon, and you walk up to it, and it activates a, voiceover of the room. Sometimes they're talking about that puzzle in particular. Sometimes they're just talking about this is how we made Portal.
Right.
And the one thing that they were saying, and I think this is hilarious because it rings all the time in my brain when I watch people play games. It's like, you know how hard it is to make people look up?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how difficult it is
look
just to
up.
make people look up?
It really is. It's the truth. It's the truth. I find that and I would.
Well,
I
that's
took a
why-
break from VR for a little while.
Yeah.
Then when Alvo came out, I was just like, okay, well,
Ooh.
let's pick this up and play.
Alvo's dope, by
And
the way.
Alvo
guys.
is
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
Alvo is ridiculously dope.
Mhm.
Alvo is what PSVR needed a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's finally here, and hopefully more people are giving it a shot and playing it. But when I was playing, I did find that, because I had been playing Doom previously,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is a slower experience.
Mhm.
You know,
Doom,
people
Doom 3, by the way.
running
the one we were
around
talking
like
about.
one-shotting with sniper rifles, hip
Right.
firing, no
Like you
scoping.
do.
Yeah, like you do. And I found myself, I'm like, why am I getting shot? Why am I getting killed so much? And I'm like, dude, look around.
Yeah.
You're,
Like I
you're,
could be
you're
facing
playing
this
like
way,
a tunnel.
and I can look exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there turning my whole body way too much.
Right,
You know, And it's like
exactly.
no. I mean, all you got to do,
You just
look, peek
Hit it.
around
That's
corners.
right.
You know,
Hit
these
it.
things are real, right? And
Well,
so
that's one of those things that you kind of have to get used to. With
somebody
VR.
has to tell you in
Yeah,
most cases. It's
Exactly.
just like, hey,
to
especially-
remind you until you get used to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, 'cause
Eventually,
people
it
get
just becomes
sick.
muscle memory.
Yeah,
Man.
they'll start feeling nauseous, and it's like,
I-
well, your nausea would be cured if you would
Move your damn
move your
head.
neck.
And
Yeah,
I
move your
even
neck.
make that shit happen to myself in Doom 3 because I'm so used to playing Doom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Doom. Hold the gun right in the center. I can't even
Yeah.
hold the gun to the side. I have to do it like this,
Like
so
this,
it's Doom.
exactly.
It's got to be right in the middle.
It's not even offset. Like,
No, no.
it's coming out of my chest.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. And so it is. It's very weird to
He's
for people
shooting
to
you
adapt.
from his heart.
Right from the heart.
You know?
Shot from the heart.
Why didn't Iron Man have Unibeam, man?
You know?
Unibeam.
Dude, for real,
Yeah.
give me that.
I want Unibeam.
I want Unibeam.
Yeah, really.
Absolutely.
doesn't
Here's my
want
Sunday
Unibeam?
best.
And so I do. I think I'm very excited for the future of VR and where it's going. But I do think that this is an opportunity for a lot of these bigger name developers to think about, like, okay, Bungie should already be thinking about how do we put Destiny in VR. They should
Yeah.
be thinking about
Oh
that
my
instead of thinking about,
God.
oh, well, we need how do we add more to Destiny? Okay, we're gonna put a transmog system so that players can wear any gear that they want, but
That's cool,
It's gonna
you know.
be their implementation is trash. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, okay, so you're gonna have to grind up this resource in order to change one item, or in order to exchange for an item that allows you to change the look of one of your pieces of equipment, but you can only get one of these per season unless you pay us, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that, let's think about a way to move this into a different format.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you can have Destiny 1. Don't even make Destiny 2 yet. Take your time. Make Destiny 1, put that in virtual reality. We're good to go.
I
All
mean,
of a
people would
sudden,
jump on that.
They would
like,
jump with
yeah.
an aim controller.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, you're done. You're done. You don't even have to. You can keep the exact same levels, exact same level design for the most part.
Yeah.
You may have to make some interactable so people can poke stuff because people like to poke stuff.
Yeah. I like it that they're doing that with 4. That's one cool thing.
Yeah.
They're making it where the puzzles are
You can
actually
hold things.
You know,
They're actually
yeah.
tactile.
You crank
yeah.
a crank. You know, you
Yeah,
reload a
yeah.
gun. You
And
do
they
the
said
things.
they did rework melee.
They
So
yeah.
that's
Mhm.
That's
a thing.
awesome.
Did you see you could hold a knife and a gun at the same
Yeah,
time? So
yeah.
you could have pop,
Oh, dude.
pull that knife out, snicked, put it right back up.
Well, I
click,
bet you
click,
could do that
pop, pop,
Saints
you
and
know?
Sinners shit
Yeah.
too, where you like kind of hold the person. And,
Well,
like,
but that leads to a completely different conversation because now, because Saints and Sinners exists, and I think that this is one of the reasons why a lot of AAA developers don't just jump on, because sometimes these other developers, these guys that are taking risks, get it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get it right, and then you got to match it, right?
Ah,
and so,
yeah.
like, because a game like Resident Evil, if you were able to do the Saints and Sinners, grab zombies and push them off of you, it changes the entire game.
It really does.
You know,
yeah.
Resident Evil is
I don't
not really
see that being an
about.
additive there.
No, absolutely not. Because
But,
I mean,
but does that mean it's going to feel weak because we already have it in another
that's
game?
a possibility.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a possibility. You may feel a little limited in those
I mean,
ways.
in VR games, the one thing that I always feel limited with, or at least in most games, is that you can't just hit somebody
just
with a gun.
hit somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like the butt of the gun just like, bah!
Yeah, like
Yeah.
with the aim, I feel like in Alvo, like that'd be cool if you could actually,
Just
whip
have
the
a-
butt forward. And
Well,
that
you
would
can
be your-
actually you put a bayonet on your gun and
Yeah.
stab forward that way.
Oh, does that work
Yeah,
like
that
that?
works. Absolutely.
They did it.
They did it. Yeah. So now all we need,
See, now you
but
can
at the
stab
same
people.
time, we do want to hit people
you
with the
had
butt
a
of the gun.
smack.
Yeah.
That'd be really good too.
That would feel good.
Stabbing is all well, good, and great. We do love to shank around here,
Oh, we
but
do.
Yeah.
And we love the chainsaw.
and we
Oh.
love the chainsaw. Ring ring.
Dude, that was my favorite part of what was it, Doom 3
Doom
VR?
3, yeah,
Doom
yeah,
3
man.
VR.
With the chainsaw.
That
He was
fucking chain gun, man.
putting him in them Caco Demon's
Oh
mouth.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Because he was running through him just going,
Dude, I put that chainsaw on absolutely everything I could.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of it. Those two-headed dudes, they run up on me. And it's like,
For real. Like little Murray from Shipping.
Yeah.
The fat dudes that walk around just shambling around, looking drunk and half fed.
fuck that guy.
Like, for real, man. I always feel
He
so
wakes
sad
up
for
from
him.
the toilet like,
Yeah, for
oh,
real.
sorry, I
He's
passed
always
out
coming
on
like
there.
out of the shadows and shit. What were you doing back there, man?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, for real. Don't nobody go in there for 35, 45 minutes.
I'll clean it up later.
Damn it.
Seriously. So I mean, what about you? What do you feel about the future of VR, like where we are right now?
Well, my biggest
Resident Evil 4.
the Resident Evil 4 thing, I feel like that's going to be solid. I think that as long as they don't muck up a couple of tiny details in it, which I mean, whatever. I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
Then
I mean, it's not like you haven't played
this
RE4 before,
a bunch of times, yeah.
A
so
lot of
many
times.
times.
on pretty much every platform it came out on. I even got the mobile version of that game,
Yeah.
which sucked. It was still, I played it anyway. I don't care. Yeah. And I'll play it again on 4. I'm happy to hear that they're putting everything in it, so we should be able to play Mercenaries.
Yeah.
That was really what I was worried about the most. I'm glad they're fully on board with Mercenaries. It's going to be in Village, going to be in that. But Village is what I'm waiting on them to finally actually say this is coming to VR, because I know they got to do it. That's the thing, man. They got to at this point, man.
I mean, kind of, but they have RE4 now, right? So
Right.
they could.
But they can't
wait.
put Village on the Quest.
I think
you know?
I think that the biggest concern with Village is right now, especially due to this like fandom towards Lady Dimitrescu.
Don't you want to see that in VR? Everybody wants to see that booty in VR,
I was
right?
all about that character until the internet.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
God, guys, why do you got to ruin it? Because I also know that this big mommy milker, whatever y'all want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I also know that she's going to mutate.
No, dude,
I
she's gonna
also
be a
know
monster.
that. She's going to be a
You know
monster.
it.
Yeah,
I also know that while y'all are sitting there
Oh.
trying to get a peek up that dress, there's going to be some gnarly shit coming out of that dress. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
got
It's gonna-
teeth.
It's gonna be
there.
Cthulhu.
You know,
under that
yeah,
skirt.
dude. I remember
Yeah.
fighting Marguerite.
Oh,
you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, exactly.
did
like,
that. God.
Yeah, dude.
She's
You know what I'm saying?
disgusting.
Like beehive vagina. Like, okay, that's what we're doing. So y'all go ahead. You know, it's like if that's what excites you, enjoy that. All right, but get ready for it to be
It's gonna
twisted.
bite you in the dick.
Yeah, for real. And they're gonna be like, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, but I do think that they kind of bought themselves some time on that one.
Oh, absolutely.
By announcing Resident Evil 4. So now VR focus is really kind of RE4.
there.
Those of us who played 7 and feel like 8 it's just a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer,
It's
dude.
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But I feel
Eventually.
I feel like now they're really thinking about actual VR implementation, not just putting you into a flat game in virtual reality. You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Okay, well, I mean, initially we wanted. We were hopeful for the idea that maybe you'd get VR support on a PS4 and you'd be able to,
Right.
or potentially use the PSVR 1 on a 5 to be able to play it. Some shit.
Some
right?
shit,
And
right.
This is obviously not the case right now.
I think they'll save it for the launch of PSVR 2.
That's it. And then we're going to
Yeah.
get a full package, and they might actually make it to where a lot of the stuff works correctly.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Which would be
Even
nice.
though
It'd
the
be
question
great.
is, do you really want to have to manually reload in Resident Evil?
I mean, I don't.
like
I hate
games-
manual reload in just about
Yeah.
every VR
Well,
game I've ever
seriously,
played.
I like
right?
it-
Like, it can get a little wonky sometimes.
I like VR
Yeah.
games that give you an option.
Right.
And playing Half-Life Alyx, which does it very correctly, I feel like it's the right kind of tension when you do have to manually reload.
Right.
You know? So that's where it's
What happens
going
when you drop a clip?
Oh,
do you
got to go
lose
pick
that ammo?
Yeah, you got to go pick it up later. Yeah, but
You
at
don't
the moment,
quit
at the
moving.
moment,
That's
that's
the whole thing. It's
Resident
like,
Evil.
You try to pick one up, it doesn't go straight into the gun, then you freak
That's
out,
on the
you
ground.
drop it, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've got 30 less rounds. Like,
Dude,
oh,
have you ever
okay.
had it in Saints and Sinners where you got a shotgun and you rack it, but it's screwed up, so it's clicked in, and you didn't notice that
like
you didn't
it
rack it
jams
all the
or
way back
some
out,
shit?
and so you're going, and you try to jam a slug in there, and you're like, oh no, and then you got to drop the slug and then unjam it and then take it and fucking.
Yeah, that's when I drop it and pick up my Navy SEALs knife. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's a stinky boy on you, and you're
Oh,
like,
every time you grab him by his head, man.
But I mean,
give a little
even
talk.
saying
Get out of here.
Yeah. Got it.
But even saying that, I
Yeah.
mean, that may be something that I mean, that's just a RE hard mode right there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be
Just-
really cool for like Madhouse difficulty, right?
Yeah,
Like if all of a
exactly.
sudden
Man.
they just rework the the systems themselves and be
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well now all you have is manual reload, right?
Mhm.
All of your ammunition is actively counted. So if you have a magazine that's like half full, you take that bitch out. That's a half full magazine.
That's
right?
a half full magazine.
Exactly.
You put a half
You
magazine.
got a half
back
mag,
in.
all right?
Yeah.
So if you actually put a fresh mag in there, whatever, go through those bullets, you pull out that half mag, put it in, that's a half mag,
Yeah.
So pay attention.
It's almost
It'd
like
be really
like
cool.
the survivor mode on New Vegas, like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
those little things a little bit more shitty for you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I mean,
I
in
like
VR,
it,
you
yeah.
can make things as shitty as you want them to be. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll suffer through it.
But
Yeah.
we need the variance. We need people to be able to play it on an easy mode.
Well,
where
that's just
you can reload
that's
with
just
a
an
button.
accessibility thing.
Accessibility,
I mean,
exactly,
you'd be crazy not to give your player base options.
It's the
Right.
same thing with
You know?
teleporting. You hate teleporting. You hate teleporting.
Oh
in
yeah,
VR, don't you?
absolutely. Yeah, in VR, no,
Yeah.
no, I can't
He
fucking stand.
can't
that shit.
stand it. Have you seen the
I
way they're doing
understand that,
teleporting
though.
in
Yeah.
RE4?
And no.
Yeah, RE4 is going to have
No, I don't
a teleport system. You can move around normally in first person and everything, but if you want to teleport, you show where you're trying to go, and then it takes you in third person and shows Leon as like run to
just
that
running
space,
Yeah.
and then it pops you back in his.
I don't think I'd mind it so much. So here's the thing. I was playing Half-Life Alex. I was playing a little bit, just kind of a walk around section, but I kept hitting the joystick up, and it would transport me in front of a wall.
because like
And
the
I-
right
and
stick,
that-
it
and-
aims, and then it's also a teleporting.
Well,
figure.
and it happened
I
in
would hate that.
Yeah.
and
That would
it
be
happened in Doom a couple of times too, where I was like, trying to aim.
Oh, that's the turnaround, the quick turnaround.
the
Oh,
quick
quick turnaround,
turnaround.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'd be
I get you.
aiming at a fucking enemy who's
And then you
running
hit
up
down,
on me, and then they
It's the
accidentally hit
same
down.
problem.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
switch around. And it's like, oh no, I don't need to be shooting this wall.
right. And while you do have to have these accessibility options, but I think I do think that if The Last of Us 2,
Yeah.
if Ghost of Tsushima, if a lot of newer titles have taught us anything, is that you have to pay attention to all of your accessibility features.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, really, just if you can think of it, throw it in there. Why not? You
Yeah.
know, people will appreciate it later. And
Absolutely.
so,
Yeah.
I
And if
do
you
think-
don't want to play it, you don't have to.
Yeah,
right.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
the here's the scary part about Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is being marketed towards the Oculus Quest 2 market, the VR market, which exploded during this pandemic. In a lot of cases because people couldn't find anything else.
Right.
You couldn't find Switches. You couldn't find a PS4. You definitely couldn't find a PS5 or an Xbox One Series,
Absolutely
or
not, yeah.
Series S or Series X. And Oculus was on the shelves.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, to this day, Oculus, you can
Uh-huh.
you can
You
get
can
an
go
Oculus
pick one
Quest
up.
3. Or Quest 2. And so there are going to be a lot of casual gamers, you know? So while when VR is like super baby and super niche, a lot of it was kind of pointed directly at us as people who,
Well, because
just
you guys
enjoy
are gonna be
movies
the
and
early
we're gonna be-
adopters.
exactly, right? Like, so you can trial run some stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now it's kind of like do or die. Like, okay, well, if we're going to put out this title, we need to make sure that mom and dad, if they want to at the family reunion or at Christmas holiday, if they want to pick it up and try to play it, they're actually able to make some progress and not just feel lost.
Hey, Mom, come play Super Hot with us.
I mean, seriously,
Super Hot's one of them, right?
Dude, my mom used to love Max Payne.
See,
Yeah,
oh,
dude, she did. I blew my mind. I always thought she was gonna get
That's
mad
awesome.
about it.
Yeah.
And she would watch me play. And next thing I know, I'm like, here, you play.
She's like, no, I love John Woo films. What are you talking
Right?
about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was when he went through the house and
enough
found
birds.
his baby dead. It just hooked her. She's like, oh
yeah.
we're on a quest.
Man.
We're on a quest for vengeance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, Mom, I love you.
Yeah, I think that one of the big issues here too with the Oculus Quest situation is you have a dichotomy here with the Quest 2.
Yeah.
You have the side of it where you're talking about the casuals, where they picked it up because it's relatively cheap considering.
Yes.
Okay, considering.
And it's something to do.
And it works really fucking well. Like as a
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Well, maybe not outside in the sun.
Right.
But
Anywhere else.
Don't go for walks with this thing.
No. So good.
That's bad.
You shouldn't be doing that.
You need to see the real world.
But people
not
have
the
to be
virtual
told that.
world.
They
They
do.
do.
Hey man, I'm
need to
just
be told.
saying.
You can't
Those
wear your
warning labels
can't wear your
didn't
VR
come
headset
out of
all day.
nowhere.
Sorry.
Put it in post production. Put a warning on the screen.
You
Disclaimer.
do not run into
Do
objects
not.
while having a headset. Yeah, so
Not
you know,
for jogging.
yeah, well, so you got these games that work really well, like you're talking about the more simple games, the Pistol Whip, Super Hot, Beat Saber, stuff like this that work so well just natively on the Quest, and without a wire. There's a bunch of people now that are kind of going, well, fuck, I don't want a wire anymore. You know, and I'll show you in a minute here. Using a local network to stream your PC to the Quest works perfectly fine, and I mean perfectly fine. So in theory, there's no reason why a PSVR 2 couldn't also do both. It couldn't use a cable, and then you could also use it standalone.
Yeah, this is going to cost another $100.
If they,
You know,
for a little
there'll be like
adapter
a
or
Wi-Fi,
something.
but like a wireless adapter. They're
Yes.
thinking about it. It'll just cost us more
They'll
money.
sell some kind of periphery.
That's going to be the hard sell for people going from a Quest 2 to a PSVR 2.
Right.
Is that they're going to look at it and be like, especially if they're in my situation streaming from a PC, they're going, well, I want the PSVR 2 library, but do I want a cable?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but that's why as long as they lean heavily into exclusives, then they'll be just fine. If Resident Evil 8 is a PS5 exclusive, they've already
Done.
won.
They win.
They win. You know, you give us Farpoint 2. You know, once you give us
Firewall
you give us another aim controller
Uh-huh.
before somebody else decides to make something similar, because it's just a brilliant idea.
Resident Evil
It
needs
changes
to be the
VR.
individual controllers, but a lot of these other games need to have an aim too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because I mean, it does. It changes everything.
Well,
about
that aim
gameplay.
controller, especially with me, I hate fucking two-handed weapons in VR.
Do you?
Yeah. No.
Oh, with two different controllers, with separate controllers.
Well, yeah, with the
Yeah,
separate
yeah,
controllers,
that's
because I don't
rough.
get any kind of feedback, and I get
like a
noodly
baseball
wrists.
bat, and Saints and Sinners can sometimes go a little wonk.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my god,
Yeah.
noodle wrists.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
you know, it's
noodly
like,
ass
that was a good
wrist, man.
swing, and it's like, nah, man. It just kind of
But-
Bonk.
just leans against the
But I
zombie's
played,
cheek.
Yeah, man.
but I played it. What was
Just kinda
that?
caress 'em.
It was Farpoint. A little bit of that.
Yeah, Farpoint.
With the aim controller, and I was just like, oh yeah, okay, this is okay. I can actually.
Mhm.
This is,
And
I
then,
actually
and
get
then
some,
you said
like
spiders.
Yes. Oh, bring that shit back. But I mean, that's what'll do it for them. Because I think Sony knows that thing one, marketing is everything. But thing two, they have some real PSVR loyalists out there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they truly do. And so once present, it's like if they're like, okay, well, here's the PSVR 2 sitting at $299.99. Okay, and then here's the optional adapter for $99.99 to make it wirelessly.
well, I'm spending.
And then here's an aim or aim 2 with adaptive trigger, with haptic feet, which they already have good haptics.
That comes with Farpoint 2.
That comes with Farpoint 2. You see the plan. This is it's mark our words. This is what's going to happen.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy it all.
All of it.
I'm gonna buy all of it. Like that's it's like there's no question. It's just coming home with me. The rest of those people, it's gonna take them a while. There's still people who haven't adopted
probably
to
piece
PSVR,
by piece build it up.
Right. It's like, okay, well, here's the part that I can afford right now, or usually it takes a bit of software. Here's that.
So
thing
you think
like you used to play
you're thinking
Beat Saber
3
2.
though is the price for headset and controllers, right? Headset and or
No. I think the controllers will be separate. I think you'll probably have the headset itself because they'll have games that use the DualSense controller, so you can get the headset. And then I think you'll be able to get the controllers in a bundle separately. Those
for like
will probably be
$100.
probably about another $79.99 to $99.99. Probably, they'll sell a
So
bundle.
like 40 a
There'll be
piece
like
or
a
something,
$500
maybe, at
bundle
least.
for it. It'll be like buying a whole nother console.
Fucking yes.
Because how else are you going to make it? Think about it. The alternative is that you get a Quest or you know shell out the money for another VR headset, and then you still got to buy a rig, right? So at the end of the day, they're still the least expensive high end
at this
VR
point,
option.
with the way that PC parts are going, people don't want to fucking spend. I mean, it was already expensive to I need to spend $600 to $800 on a video card
get a graphics card
just for a graphics card, right?
Yeah.
But now those $600 graphics cards are selling for twice as much right now.
Absolutely. You know? And you can't find them.
And you can't fucking find them, dude. I mean, I was almost at the point where me and Levi were going, like, Levi needs the rest of his rig, and I want a new video card. I was like, why don't we just find a pre-built, go halvesies on it, you know? I'll give you my video card to slap in yours, and we can...
Most people just don't want to think that hard, man. Like, most
it's too much, man. The headache that I've had from getting everything set up to work... is a bunch.
There's a reason why the console market is as big as it is.
Absolutely,
you know, people don't want to fiddle around. People don't want to have to say like, "Oh, let me just change some settings. It'll just take a minute," and then you're still fucking.
No, they
want
to plug and play.
Plug and play.
That's what people want.
You know, the thing is, PSVR might have a bunch of shit going on with it, but once you do get it plugged up, it doesn't take that much to get it working.
Nope.
It works, and then once you have it set up, then you're good. You know, you can unplug from the box and put your headset up.
It's just that initial setup. You know, like and here's the thing. It's just like as big as VR has gotten. Over the past few years, it's still a relatively niche industry within the sphere of gaming. Within the sphere of gaming. You know, and as more and more people get it, and as people as time moves on and people understand it more and more. Like stuff like, oh man, it's gonna take like X amount of time to set this up and connect this to my PC or my console or whatever. A lot of those times will get shorter and shorter. Again,
that's the theory.
And most people, in theory,
no. As long as we don't have a breakout box, I'm good to go.
Really. I mean, I'm thinking it's just gonna be a USB-C right plugged into the front of the.
I mean, that's gonna plug into the back of the console, but at the same time, we're running out of plugs, man.
Dude.
Like you gave us 3. Like I don't know what you want us to do. So
we should have had at least 2 more USB Type A's.
No, they'll start going through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
No, we'll just see a redesign for the PS5, and then they'll be like, "Don't you want this new, sleeker, slimmer one with USB?"
Well, that's talking about that just because of the chip shortage. God,
just because they can't distribute. So we might see a redesign in a couple of months.
Wow. Well, before we go off on an entirely different hole,
right?
I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap up. We're both excited about the PSVR 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the future of VR, and everybody should go check out.
I'm
Returnal.
interested to watch from the sidelines.
That's right.
We'll slap you in there.
Yeah.
And laugh at your expense.
Well, I am going to be on a couple episodes of Very Reality.
That's right.
You know,
we got to make a fool of ourselves on the internet.
Right.
That's how you do it.
I want to get on one of those Very Reality.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I want to do an Electronaut.
Guys, keep an eye out on the Very Reality channel.
We'll be featuring
new stuff,
new people,
new
new
things all around.
Absolutely.
So Very Reality is located on YouTube, or
it's
also
on
YouTube. Twitch as well.
Yeah,
just on YouTube for the moment. I haven't got it to where I can stream the VR content yet. I'm working on that.
We're looking into it.
Multi-camera thing and having to do the blue screen and the color replacement shit. You know,
absolutely.
I'm figuring it out. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But yes, you can view all of our videos on Very Reality. We have 3 episodes up so far.
Trey, did you have anything that you wanted to promote?
Well, I mean, I have a couple of different channels, one of which on YouTube, which is actually under GraeScale, which is GraeScale. You know, I'll do gaming videos there, you know, usually little snippets of something funny, sometimes little reviews, things like that. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Where you been playing It Takes Two?
I actually stream It Takes Two to Twitch. That's https www. Well, that's www Twitch TV, or I guess I have to say the whole fucking thing. It's so fucking sucks, dude. Anyway, so it is
link to him
www.twitch.tv/Power of GraeScale. GraeScale. And that's where you'll find me if you see a beautiful black kitty come up when I'm offline. You'll know that's where it is. Okay. So we stream to Twitch, but then I'll take those videos, you know, and put them on YouTube. So I have the entire, our entire playthrough. My fiance and I were playing through it right now. It's a great game. Definitely check out It Takes Two. If you love co-op gaming, get it. We can talk about that later.
Guys, there'll be links in the description for all of this.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right.
Cool.
Well, guys, it's
Thank
been
you for
fun.
having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
What do you think of that? What do you think of this? What do you think of that?
What do you think of this?
What do you think of this?
What do you think of this?
What do you think of
What do you
this?
think of that?
What do you think of this?
What do you think of this?
What do you think of
What do you think of this?
Ah, what do you think of this?
What of this?
Oh, yeah, hang on.
What do you think of this?
Is that dumb enough to end on?
I think we just came up with a new ending.
I think we'll do that every time now.
Later, everybody.
Later.